It all starts with this guy Robert, a lumberjack who showed up in the little town of Ferry as a kid. He never knew his real parents and didn't even have a clue when his actual birthday was. Growing up, he watched hundreds of Chinese families get run out of town. Once he hit his teens, he dropped out of school and figured he'd find his own way. He worked his ass off cutting timber day after day, but he never really had a passion for anything and mostly kept to himself. Then everything changed. One Sunday morning at church, this girl Gladys walks right up to him just because she'd never seen him there before. From that day on, Robert only went to church to see her. 3 months later, they were inseparable. They planned out every little detail of the life they wanted together, built themselves a little cabin down by the river, kept a few chickens, lived dead simple, but man, they were happy. The only problem was Robert had to be away for long stretches for work. His crew was a bunch of guys from all over, places he'd never even heard of, but they all got along. For Robert, those temporary crews started feeling like family. In 1997, he was working for the railroad, helping build the Robinson Bridge, and that's when he first worked alongside railroad guys. One day, a couple of men grabbed his Chinese coworker, dragged him over, and threw him off the bridge. Robert just stood there, trying to figure out what the hell was happening, but he didn't do a damn thing. He just watched. When the job was done, they had the big ribbon-cutting ceremony. Everybody else was clapping and cheering, while Robert stared at that bridge in total disbelief, thinking only about the innocent guy they'd murdered. When the project wrapped, Robert finally came home after months away. Gladys ran out to meet him, all excited, and showed him their little girl who'd grown so much. He was genuinely happy to be back with his family. That night, they made a special dinner, laughed, talked, just soaked up being together. Robert treasured every second with his daughter, the peace of being home and the kind of love you only get on days like that. But the peace never lasted long. Logging season rolled around again, and he had to leave his family behind. He put on a tough face, but deep down, nobody knew better than him how much it killed him to walk away from that warmth he'd missed so bad. A lot of the guys on the crew were single, no wives, no kids, because they bounced from job to job, state to state. Robert didn't talk much with them, but there was this new guy, Sam, who never shut up about the Bible, whether they were working or on break. One day a stranger shows up looking for Sam, finds him, pulls a gun, and shoots him dead. The guy screamed that Sam had killed his brother just for being black. It shook everybody to the core. Robert also worked with a guy named Art for a while, an explosive expert who mostly just watched everybody else work. But at night, Robert couldn't shake the nightmares about that Chinese guy getting tossed off the bridge. The guilt of doing nothing ate him alive. The logging kept going. Every new job took them deeper into the woods, cutting different kinds of trees. They'd start at sunrise and quit when it got too dark to see. With enough experience, you could usually tell which way a tree was going to fall. One little mistake, though, and someone was dead. Robert saw plenty of guys die. Whenever it happened, they'd nail the dead guy's boots to a nearby tree, a quiet little memorial that he'd been there, but the work never stopped. The work kept going, and the demand for lumber never let up. No matter how much pain and tragedy there was, they had to keep cutting. They didn't have a choice. That one accident in the woods scared Robert bad. For the first time, he really thought about the family waiting at home and how he couldn't keep gambling with his life. When he finally got back, coming home felt like a safe place. His daughter Kate was growing up so fast, and it hit him how many big moments he was missing. One night, Gladys suggested they all come with him next season. She could wash clothes and cook for the crew, make a little money, and at least the family would stay together. Robert shut that idea down fast. The woods were way too dangerous, especially for Kate. Dead set on keeping his family safe, he started looking for any job close to home, even if it had nothing to do with logging and paid crap, just so he could be there every night. But those low-wage gigs barely put food on the table. Months dragged by like this, Robert scraping by on next to nothing pay, worry eating him alive every single day. Finally, he makes the tough call. He's going back to the woods. Back to falling timber. But this time, it's different. This time, he's got a real plan. He's gonna save every damn penny, buy himself a little portable sawmill and a small piece of land. That way, he can run his own show, make his own money, and most important, actually be home with his family. The one thing Gladys always begged for. From that moment on, Robert isn't just working to survive anymore. He's working to build a life where he never has to leave them again. One day out in the woods, a massive widowmaker branch comes crashing down on Ern. Hits him so hard, the guy's crushed, bleeding out, fading right there on the ground. Robert had logged beside Ern for years. Losing him guts him in a way nothing else ever has. The crew feels the hole, sure, but for Robert, it's a whole different kind of pain. He's never lost someone that close before. End of the season comes, Robert climbs on the train home, dead tired, passes out cold. Same damn nightmare hits him again. The Chinese guy tumbling off the bridge. Then shouting wakes him up. He looks out the window and sees a wall of black smoke climbing into the sky. Heart in his throat. He jumps off at his regular stop, but the station is pure chaos. People screaming, running for their lives. He grabs folks yelling, "Have you seen Gladys? Have you seen my little girl?" Nobody even hears him. They just keep running. He takes off towards the woods, towards home. The fire's a monster, roaring, eating everything. He tries to push through the smoke and flames to reach the cabin, but the heat slams him back, smoke burning his lungs raw. He stumbles a few more steps, then his legs give out. The terror of what might have happened to his wife and daughter is ripping him apart from the inside. He has no choice. He turns back. All that's left is ashes. Robert stands there staring at the burned-out shell of the home he built with his own hands, tears rolling down his face. He picks up a few half-burned keepsakes and holds them against his chest like they're the last pieces of his life. For 2 straight weeks, he searches every settlement, every camp, every damn road in the area, begging for any word of Gladys and Kate. Nothing. Finally, he goes back to the home site, rebuilds a tiny shelter on the same spot, and waits. Just waits. Because maybe, just maybe, they'll come walking out of the trees one day. Days and nights blur together. He replays every memory on a loop. Deep down, he's convinced it's all some kind of curse. Punishment for standing there and doing nothing the day they threw that innocent man off the bridge. A guy named Jack, the one who used to sell him supplies, hears what happened and starts showing up with food, sitting with him so he's not alone out there. He knows in his gut they're probably gone forever, but there's this tiny spark of hope that won't die. That spark is what gets him, with Jack's help, to rebuild a little cabin on the exact same spot. Like he's keeping the porch light on, just in case. Sometime later, a stray mama dog shows up with a litter of puppies hanging around the place. He takes them in, and those little critters fill the dead quiet of the woods with life and noise and something to care for. Years roll on. Robert tries going back to logging, but his body's shot, and the young guys treat him like he's in the way. So he comes home for good, picks up odd jobs around the settlement, saves up enough to buy a couple of horses and a wagon, starts hauling freight for folks. On those runs, he meets a woman named Claire. When she hears his story, she says stuff that sticks with him for a long time. Tells him that even when he feels like his life doesn't matter anymore, actually he's a part of something bigger. That he's kind, that he gives shelter to people, to animals, like he did with that stray dog and her pups. One night he swears Kate came back, finds a hurt girl outside the cabin, patches her up best he can. Next morning, she's gone. No trace. He never knows if she was real or if his broken mind just gave him one last chance to take care of his daughter, one chance he never got in real life. He never found their bodies, never got to say goodbye, so maybe his heart cooked up that moment just to let him feel it once. In his later years, Robert finally lets himself travel a little, see some of the world that kept spinning without him, watches men walk on the moon, see cities explode with new buildings and cars and noise. And in those quiet moments of reflection, he finally gets it. Life doesn't just punish the guilty, it punishes the ones who stay silent when evil happens too. That nightmare he carried for decades, that was the price of his silence on the bridge that day. Still, He learns to hold tight to the good memories, the ones that once made him happy, and finds a kind of peace in them. Finally, in 1968, Robert closes his eyes for the last time in that little cabin, quiet and alone, surrounded by the same forest he'd lived beside his whole life. And that's the end of his story.